Afternoon, everyone coming through? Am I coming through okay? Yep. How's everybody doing? Hope you are well. Thanks for joining as usual. Paul, how you doing, pal? I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit tender today. Out watching the football yesterday. But hey, I'm actually quite happy that the Euros are over, because here in Dubai, so the games kick off at 11, and you're not allowed to record them either for some reason on the channel. You're not allowed to record them, so you're not getting to bed till 2 o'clock minimum, 2 o'clock in the morning, and that's for the last 30 days. So to be honest, I'm quite happy. Tian, how you doing, mate? Good to see you back. Hope you are well. How was your rugby? So yeah, I'm quite happy the Euros are over, so I can get to bed at a reasonable hour, stop drinking beer, go back to the gym. Jesus, just kind of changed my lifestyle over the last 30 days, because I've just been a slob, really, on the couch watching the football, drinking beer. So it'll be nice to get back into a little bit healthier. Yeah, but are you talking about the Lions, Tiana? Are you talking about the Lions game or something else? Anyway, let's talk market, shall we? We'll talk markets as we go along. The SSPX, it is a Monday, remember? So Mondays are normally quiet, not many fundamental drivers. We did have a decent push in the SPX on Friday, which I didn't think was happened. Euro Cup. You talking about the Euros? Oh yeah, yesterday. Euro Cup. I'm not sure if that's rugby or football, Tian. If you're talking about the football, last night, yeah, I watched that as well. Unfortunately for England. Although I'm not really... Italy was actually my sweepstake team. So I won a little bit of money because Italy won. So everybody puts 100 dirhams in the pot. So I won a decent bit of money, but I just, put it back onto the bill. Decent game, though. Decent game. It's... Anyway, yeah. Anyway, let's talk markets. That's what I'm here for. We'll talk markets. I could probably talk about football all day, to be honest with you. But anyway. So we had this dip on Friday. And I did think that we might have a kind of complex corrective here because of just the way the chart looks. But, it just shows you the power of a simple hammer, right? We got a rejection here. I mean, very similar to down here. And the market's pushed on into all-time highs. I'm not going to lie to you. I still don't like it. I think we're in a little bit of a precarious position. And I think that's reflecting in the Forex market, right? Because if I just bring this up, the FinViz, right, just showing the relative strength of each currency on the basket right now, it's not reflecting risk on, is it? It's not reflecting that. We've got the Aussie week, we've got the CAD week, we've got the Kiwi week. You've got the yen relatively strong on the basket, the Swiss catching up there. So that, if you look at that, that's risk off, right? Commodity currency is weak, risk off currency is strong. And this is what it's been. This is why I don't like the SPX. And it's kind of reflected in the Forex market as a whole because, even though we're here, we're pushing into all-time highs, even though we've had this, that's not been reflected into those kind of commodity currencies, etc. So it's just in a kind of precarious position. I think something is coming. Rohan, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Thanks for coming back. I do think something's coming here. But at the moment, the market wants to push. And if it wants to continue to push, fine. We have to go with that. We are getting a decent rejection here on the retest, probably on smaller time frames of those all-time highs. Potentially, old resistance becoming new support. Daily looks okay. The daily has a bullish engulfer here. Looks okay for upward movement. And I think it does. You have to say it continues. Do I like it? No, but we just have to go with what we see. If we get some sort of price acceptance above this area, stocks will push on. I mean that's what we're seeing, and that's what we got to go with it. Whether I make sense of it or not, it doesn't matter. Would I prefer this to come down and give us a kind of harder reset? Absolutely. But, again, we're just into that position where it's like, okay, well, what's happening? But it's pushing on. We've got to accept that. And, stocks up. I don't see that changing. I mean, anybody else have any ideas? Let me know your thoughts as well. This is just, I'm here. I'm just giving my personal thoughts. You guys, all very knowledgeable, seems to be. Let me know what your thoughts are. But for me, I can just see the stocks rising. But again, there's something niggling at me saying something is going to come at some point, and I can see a decent fall in that market at some point, just because of how that chart looks. Doesn't look nice to me. Anyway, the dollar. So the dollar again had two kind of down days from here. It's still within this kind of structure we've been talking about for the last little while. If we do get a reaction in the dollar today, we're getting that 20 period catch up, which we haven't had for quite some time. If we do get a little push on in the dollar as a reactionary from roughly this area, we could continue within that rising wedge and kind of motor on up to that level. But again, for me, this chart doesn't look nice. For me, this chart does not look nice. These kind of patterns, whether it be a rising wedge, or you can call it, if you get into this kind of channel, it's always a little bit worrisome, for continued strength. Now, if we do decide, on account of these last 2 days, really from NFP, I believe, with dollar kind of coming into some weakness, or any dollar strength being sold into, you might see the dollar fall if it does break through that kind of area, break through that 20, break through this anchor. You probably would be expecting a decent dollar short. And that's what I kind of believe. I do think the dollar's heading, if it does continue in this vein, I think the dollar heads for quite a big drop roughly around this area. That's my bias. I'm not trading it, but that's what I think may happen. We could get a drop here, but I just don't buy, at the moment, any dollar strength, unless it kind of sets up properly, in my personal opinion. That's what I think. I don't like any of it. I don't like any of those charts, but that doesn't really matter because I'm not trading them. But that's just my opinion on the risk sentiment. Even though the stocks are pushing, I just feel there's something there that people don't like, and that's been reflected into, the currencies that have been strong and been weak. It's been choppy. It's been lack of follow through, etc. So I have got a trade in. I put a trade in. I did talk about this on Friday. I can't remember if it was on the website or on this stream, about this pound New Zealand. Right, we had this day here, so that setup was valid. Right, larger cup with handle, within a V reversal, reload, push through, A, B, C. Didn't take it here. I would like to see a push through above the 20. We got this big bullish bar, and that was enough for me to take the trade. This is a daily chart, so it's kind of a longer term trade. I wasn't in the markets on Friday afternoon. I did want this to come back a little bit more to the 40-60 for a kind of better entry. But this morning I looked at it and said, that's enough for me. Again, longer term trade, big stop about 300 pips, I believe. This is the trade here if you want to look at it. So stop loss, about 300 pips, 1.96, 106. TP1 at there. I need to put this. Let me just change this. 96, 106. These are the little things you might not think about, like if you're placing two orders, making sure you input the right numbers. Little things like that can actually cost you money, and certainly if you do it over the over a long term, making sure you're position sizing correctly. If you don't know, I use my FX book. But yeah, little things like that can get you a little bit stuck at some point. So it's very important that you make sure you're doing everything correctly. Scooped a little 1% on gold on Friday. Well done. Gold. Let's have a look at gold, actually. Yes. Sorry. I'll look at gold in a second. But so this is nice. Like I said, longer term trade. I think as well the pound might get boosted by the euros. I might sound silly, but a lot of money is being pumped into the British economy. There was 60,000. There was certainly yesterday there'll be a lot of money pumped into that British economy with all the spending going on. A lot of the games being at Wembley. I think I like pound longs, for the next little while. On account of that, I think the pound will see a little boost. Certainly, if it does continue to ease up those COVID restrictions, I think pound is a good play, and a good play to the upside for against certain currencies, and pound New Zealand is one of them. So, what else am I looking? I've not got many other things. I like euro pound as well. So this is something I do like. The setup's coming from a potential here, V reversal, possible head and shoulders, maybe tagging that trend line and coming down. That would be nice. I'll try and zoom in here. So now looking for some kind of corrective here, some kind of complex to digest this move to the downside. tag this level again. 1, 2, 3, knocking on the door. You know, if I know we've had a decent push up here in the euro, but you know, I certainly don't buy any real strength in that euro coming in, certainly against this pair. And if we can get that kind of digestion, come back down, let that 20 catch up to take that trade to the downside. Yeah, I like that on euro pound. Daily, going with the trend, you know, roughly tagging this descending trend line. You know, any strength is being sold into. Like I said, I do like the pound. I think the pound strengthens this week. And if we can get a setup on that, I would like that on euro pound. Use R. How's everybody else's trading going, by the way? Anybody else making money? I hope so. I've only had one position in 12. This is my second trade in July. And that's all I've had. So this USR is kind of irrelevant now because, you know, we've had a breakthrough that level. I wanted in the morning, it was about here. I wanted this to retrace a little bit, you know, give us that corrective from this push, breakout and retest. It's becoming a little bit messy. It needs to kind of come down now. But if it wants to break, then, you know, it's got to be, you know, off the list, unfortunately. So USR was looking good, but it's kind of irrelevant now, I feel. Finally, I'm not going to stay too long today, guys. Apologize. I'm honestly not feeling my best. I'll be back to my fully best on Wednesday. Yeah, do you know what? USD-ZAR is one of my favorite currencies to trade, or currency pair to trade. I see a lot of success in it for some reason. I think the movements are nice. You know, USD-ZAR, Swiss yen, and Kiwi dollar are my three favorites. And actually, I like the USD Hong Kong dollar as well. I like to, you know, the USD pairs against these exotics, even SEK, you know, NOK, they move really nicely. And if you can get on in a nice trend, you know, I like them. Certainly as a trend continuation trader. They really do move. So ZAR, I do really like, actually. One of my best trades was in USAR about a year ago. Just moved and just went and went. Just kept moving my stop. I think I got about 9% out of it. It was unbelievable from a breakout retest. So I had a breakout retest on the 30-minute chart, and it just went, and I started, and because it went so far, I moved it, you know, my trade management onto the 4-hour, right, and started moving my stops. It was just, you know, an unbelievable trade. But I do like those USD pairs against the exotics. I think they move quite nicely. Nick, how you doing, pal? Good to see you. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good weekend. So Oz 200, big V reversal here in a kind of rangy price action at the moment. I'm only interested in this bit. This is where the setup is coming. So I'm not really worried about this. And if we can get some sort of corrective, here, digesting that move roughly around that 40-60 box. Come reload to take that index to the upside. I actually think these other indexes look better than the SPX. You know, a lot of these indexes look a lot nicer. Even the Dow looks a lot nicer than the SPX, really. You know, look at that. Look at that chart. Actually, you know what? That looks nice. And look at the Dow. I didn't see that this morning. That's not bad, you know. Look at that in the 4-hour. That's not bad. So look at that on the daily. So you got your V reversal here. Getting into it. Kind of needs a little bit more. If we can have some digestion here, 1 or 2 days, I would take the Dow to the upside. Looks good. You know, but like I said, that this chart looks so much nicer than the SPX, right? The SPX is one of the ones that just doesn't look as nice. The Oz 200 as well. That daily chart. Look what we're in. You know, this has been the market recently. It's a ranging market. And but again, this chart just looks a little bit better than the SPX. You know, it looks ready to move. So if that does set up, I kind of like that. How long was that trade? It was. I think it was like 2 weeks. I held on to it, and I had another one. I always remember. I mean, you always remember the good ones, right? I had another one. Euro pound. I had a great trade in Euro pound a couple of months ago. I had a great trade in the Kiwi dollar. I had a great trade in Euro NZD, which I held for like 3 weeks. So it's just funny. I haven't had, well, I had the euro pound about three months ago, I think it was. And I'll show you that actually. I'll show you that trade. These are the ones that really turn everything around. You know, that's where a lot of your edge comes from, or that's where a lot of my edge comes from at the, you know, if you take it from an annual perspective, you get 3 or 4 of them, and let's say you hover around, even around break even for the majority of the other ones, then, you know, let's say you get 36% out of it. You know, that's where your kind of edge comes from, just that patience of letting those that do want to run, you know, kind of really do run. Unfortunately, I wish they happened a lot more. But, you know, that's the game we're in, unfortunately. So it was this trade here I took on Euro Pound. So head and shoulders, breakout retest, stop was up there, entry in, TP1 was there, and bang, just kept moving my stop, moving my stop, moving my stop, moving my stop, and got out. I think I got out about here. Yeah, I got out about there. So look at that. And this was my risk management here. That was unreal. That was a really nice trade. I always use this because recently I've been doing the videos into the Trading Academy on the website. I always use this as an example of trading, right? Because this for me is 30% strategy, right? Let's say 30, even probably 20. That's your strategy. Like, this is your patience. Or, sorry, that's not right. This is your patience, right? That is where you make your money. This is a 4-hour chart, remember. So even though this seems quite easy, right? You know, you're thinking this is probably a 2-day corrective. And also the patience also comes with, because I remember we got this bar here, right? Thinking, okay, I'm about 4 hour up at this point in time. This is a hammer. But taking that out because maybe you're scared of this flipping back on you was the wrong decision, right? And it's always, what I do is I write the ones that kind of went on. So I remember if I ever think that little bastard shoulder or a little devil on my shoulder says, take it out and take the money, I write them down and I say, well, you know, if you take this out, you wouldn't have experienced all of that. So sticking to your plan is very important. But yeah, for me, that's trading right there. 30% strategy, 70% patience. There you go. That's where you make your money. Sitting on your ass, basically. Minors and exotics, you're the best at. Yeah, I think so, yeah. I think that's where I get most of my money from, to be honest. The exotics, I think. I'd have to go back and actually do the stats on it, but yeah, I'm almost 100% sure I'm better on those exotic pairs, specifically against the US dollar as well, which some people don't like to trade because they think it's probably the most manipulated currency. But you know, I found a lot of success in it. But anyway, that's it. Anybody want me to look at anything? I don't have anything else on my watch list. Like I said, I'm in that pound New Zealand long daily chart. Nothing else. Oh, gold. I'll look at gold before I go. I'm doing a stream on A1 tonight as well. I'll probably do a topic. I haven't thought about what topic I'm going to do, but yeah, I'm doing. I've got 4 streams today, and I woke up thinking, Jesus, I don't feel good at all. I'm not 21 anymore, that's for sure. Aussie dollar, Kevin. Yeah, sure, I'll do Aussie dollar. Gold. I don't know if, I mean, gold looked like it's kind of topping off, right? Potentially continuation to the downside. If the dollar wants to get a little bit of strength out of it, then possibly. You know, a few wiki candles here. Hammer. You know, 1, 2 hammers, 200 above. Yeah, I think gold potentially continues to the downside. Aussie dollar, right? I'll do the Aussie dollar, and that'll be me. And apologies if I'm not coming off like I normally am. But I'll be right as rain on Friday. Aussie dollar. Now, the first thing that sticks out to me is Aussie dollar is this. Right? Is this potentially the end of that downtrend? OBE, outside bullish engulfer. Kevin, yeah, I agree. It looks to be gold potentially moving down. I agree. So this Aussie dollar, yeah, I would look at that and say potentially we're getting some movement upwards. obviously if the dollar decides to have that weakness, you'd expect that to push. You would expect the Aussie to be stronger than what it is, but yeah. Apart from that, and the Aussie dollar, you know, smaller time frames, corrective, push through that corrective above that 200, needs to push through these moving averages as well. I think as a naked trade, you could take it. You know, for me, you could take that as a naked trade on the smaller time frames. On the 4 hour, you know, it still looks to be in a downtrend. It's certainly counter trend if you're taking that on the daily. But again, I forgot what I was saying. Right, guys, I've got to go. I'll be back on Wednesday. Apologies, my brain is fried. Honestly, I apologize for that. I'll be back on Wednesday, right as rain. But yeah, Aussie dollar potentially to the upside, Rohan. And yeah, that'll be me. Apologies, guys. I'm not with it today at all. So I'll see you all Wednesday, and I'll be okay then. Cheers, guys. Take care. Trade safe.